Hey everybody, let me know if the audio is okay. I know we have had some issues in the past. We're gonna get going here in a second. Let me know where you're from, what's going on. Jeremy, Sudeep, Jacob, what's going on? Captain Black, haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. How's everybody doing? Please excuse my voice today. I apologize. Let's just go for it, shall we? Bada bing. Bada boom. What's going on? Welcome. It's Monday. It's noon. I'm available, right? I haven't been live because we were at imaging and I got really hit hard with the some sort of ultra mega flu, and that's why my voice is gone. I don't feel sick, but I definitely am feeling some damage. Like my lungs are not at full capacity. I'm breathing hard. So I didn't want to do anything where I'm going to be like running around, setting up lights and shooting like we do sometimes. And I also want to keep this stream where it could be anything we want it to be, right? So it's just kind of a hangout. It's just a destination point for you guys to know that you can come here and just be with other photo nerds, video nerds, lighting nerds, whatever. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. This is the live events channel. This is the event space at Adorama. In fact, bang. Whoop, nope. No. I messed up the cool thing. There we go. Hey, look at that. This is Adorama itself, 42 West 18th Street. You know you're welcome here. This week, Thursday, 5 p.m., Daniel Norton makes his triumphant return to the event space. I think he's doing single light portraits, which is great. If you guys have one light, he's going to show you how to get the most out of it, right? So you guys are welcome to come here. If you missed it, we had Phil Penman here earlier in the, actually not early in the week, last week. Phil Penman is a very prolific street photographer, Leica shooter. The place was packed, really amazing work, and just a really great demeanor and philosophy about the game. So make sure you check out that stream on this channel. It was a quick one. It was like 30 minutes or so. It was pretty good. I should go over and keep Morris company. You could do that. You could totally do that. I know you're a regular here, Marcus. Is this, oh, I know what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong. I was so close to having a perfect one. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can do this. Paste. Hit OK. Now let me see if this works. Yay, I got it to work again. All right. Let me get rid of this. You guys know who I am. I'm Seth Miranda. I'm a pro photographer in New York. You also can check out all the events here too. So hit that QR code. You'll see all the events as they come up. Follow Adorama on Eventbrite if you want to stay up on not only being here in person, but joining the streams where you guys are here now. Was in the store Wednesday for Phil Penman. Never seen the Adorama store that crowded. That's a lie. We have had very packed events with Joe McNally, Lindsay Adler, myself, Daniel's packed them in here, Chris Knight has packed them in here. It's just, you know, not every event everyone's available for. Not every event is a major event. It's just kind of like we keep this place alive and going. This is the heartbeat. You guys are in the left ventricle, if you will. Huh? Who remembers their eighth grade bio there? Hope you guys are well. Yeah, you had the flu 3 weeks ago. I feel like everybody's had the flu. I was sick on stage at imaging. I was burning up. I was losing my train of thought. Hopefully that demo went well. I think no one left the room. You can always pack a room, but when no one leaves, that's when you know you did a good demo, and no one left. So I think I did okay. I know in my rib cage that it could have been better, but I was dying up there. It was the last hour of the show. I was there for a whole week. I was helping Joe McNally. I was doing videos for the imaging trade show itself. I built the Adorama booth, did demos of the booth, tech the booth, was screaming on mics all over the place for the entire week. So it's been, it was a pretty hectic show for me. Well, WPI didn't happen yet, Solomon. So that will be March 16th to the 20th. And just so you guys are aware, just announced, I will not only be there doing a class for WPI, but I will be there prior to WPI for the lighting summit, which is being held by Pro Photo. So I'll be doing a class as one of, I think, 5 other speakers that get to do an intensive, I don't know, program with you guys. And I can't be, I mean, it's what an honor to be included in that. So thanks so much for including me in that roster. But I believe the 16th and 17th are going to be the summits, which are wedding, portrait, boudoir, and lighting. And I'm going to be in the lighting summit. And then on the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th is the actual show. And I'll be doing a cinematic lighting course in narrative with just light course, which I just did at imaging. So I'm going to do it again at WPI if you missed that one. So that's going to be pretty cool. WPI is shaping up to be a monster event. Of course, Adorama will have a booth. Adorama will always be doing live demos and doing giveaways. So make sure you stay up on what booth they're going to be at. I don't have a number specifically yet. Maybe I do. I don't know. When we get closer to WPI, we'll keep you informed on all the details on that. But yeah, so man, wish I could have been there. I was in Dallas visiting family for Christmas. Imaging is every year in January, and sometimes into February, but next year it's in Nashville, which is a venue they've held it at plenty of times. It is monstrous. I was fortunate enough to do classes at those. I was fortunate enough to just go to the, oh my God, I'm so sorry, guys. I was fortunate enough to be on stage for 2 imagings at different years at Nashville, and what a massive gathering of photographic species that is. It's unbelievable. So if you get a chance, check out imaging, but WPI is coming up, and I will be doing a class there, like I just said. A lot of stuff has happened in this industry in the last, since the year started. It's been kind of nuts. The releases have been coming fast. This is one of them, the Westcott FJ800, which I finally have in hand. Thank you, JC. We're going to be playing around with this next time I'm live, okay? I didn't want to go crazy here, but I just wanted to let you guys know I have it. I'll go over some things about it that are new, not just the power. FJ800, 800 watt seconds, battery powered, pretty slick. It's a unit, and we'll talk about that. And yeah, Nikon is going crazy. And that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about, because I think this is huge news over here. The red announcement for Z-mount VistaVision V-Raptor 8K global sensor cameras with Z-mount, and the Komodo X with Z-mount, which is a big deal. And even if you're a stills photographer, this is a big deal. And I'm going to explain to you why, if you guys are into that. But I think it's a big announcement for the industry as a whole. One of the things is, first of all, Nikon is officially in cinema. This is nuts, right? This is the first throw at it. Not only are in cinema, but they also have cinema glass. They just announced this one, right? Which was the 28 to 135 f4 PowerZoom, which is clearly a video focused lens. PowerZoom always more video focused than anything else. But the Z-mount, listen, I'm the first one that was guilty of this. When I said, so they're going to announce some red cameras with Z-mount, so they changed a piece of metal. No, it's bigger than that. For those of you guys who don't know, mirrorless introduced this era of adapting lenses all over the place, because now the flange distance got so shorter compared to DSLR and other things that you were able to put adapters on to then put whatever lens on to whatever body within reason. But not all mirrorless mounts are the same. In fact, the distance of that flange distance, that flange distance isn't the same across them all. And Z-mount is 16 millimeter flange distance. That is shorter than a lot of other mounts. In fact, pretty much every other mount. I think we're at 20 millimeters with RF, or I think E-mount is 20 millimeters. I think Sony E-mount is around 20 millimeters, give or take. So this is a big deal, because now, for the first time ever, you're gonna be able to put Sony E-mount glass onto red cameras. If you just want to go into that system, you can then order a red camera with the Z-mount, not having to worry about what lens to put on there. I'm talking about PL, I'm talking about L mount, I'm talking about RF mount, Canon lenses, and you can adapt them to it and know it'll work. What you might run into are things like vignetting, the circle projected from the lens not covering the whole sensor. Here's the detail that blows my mind the most. There's no lens correction in the cameras yet, because they're pre-production. We haven't seen a production camera, red camera with a Z-mount yet. The correction would allow for things like vignetting to be eliminated. However, most of the Z glass seems to not suffer this problem because it was built to be corrected before it's even in the camera. So we're not looking at post-correction here. We're looking at lenses that were built to work clean, right? And now you're really seeing what Z glass is really capable of, from the focus breathing compensation by the glass, not having a crop after the fact. And this will affect all you still shooters in the Z system, because you know what this means? The used market holds value. All your Z glass will then inherently be more valuable to other systems, more users, different user case scenarios, different setups, different reasons to even go into using Z mount anything. So you will see, and in my opinion, you will see the used market on Z glass holding more value this way. So it's more of a sound investment if you choose to trade any of your Z glass for something else, or if you're even switching a system, or you're just upgrading your lenses or changing the way you have your lens collection overall. So it's pretty exciting, all things considered. Kevin's asking, can you briefly explain what PowerZoom means? How is that different from regular zoom? Okay, so PowerZoom means that it's electronically motorized to have a clean, consistent zoom. Instead of being manually controlled by a user, which can have all sorts of inconsistency, where yes, zoom lenses have come an extremely long way, including sharper and so many other things. But when you are manually zooming, you are subject to a human being's motor skills to have a clean, consistent zoom. When you have power zoom, no matter what, however you set the speed, however you set that rocker switch or any sort of button that you've had assigned to power zoom, it'll stay completely consistent. The next level of this is high-res zoom, which a bunch of cameras have now, including Nikon, where if you are shooting in, let's say, 4K, but the camera is capable of 6 or 8K, well, that means it has more resolution to digitally crop, digitally zoom. So if I have this 120 lens and it zooms and it hits 120, the digital zoom will take over from there and maintain 4K because it's technically shooting in a higher res that's cropped, making that simulated zoom, which is digital zoom. This also means that when you go into high res zoom, almost any lens, basically, if you think about it, is parafocal, meaning it won't change focus as it's zooming because all it's doing is digitally cropping. Do you have any idea how much capability you were just given with the lenses you probably already own with high-res zoom? Now you throw in something like this. I got like 16 mice here that I got something like this, a 28 to 135, which is a power zoom from wide angle all the way to 135 millimeter full frame, clean, smooth, consistent zoom. For video, this is so invaluable. You ask anyone that shoots video constantly, especially while they're on on sticks, meaning it's on a tripod, this is invaluable for them to be able to just have a zoom switch rather than even, imagine you're doing a stable shot and then you go to grab the lens to zoom and you knock it a little bit. Imagine you already zoomed in so that the magnification of whatever knocks your camera is magnified because of that. And then you go and grab it and now imagine you just had a switch and it just kicks in smooth. Doesn't ruin your shot, doesn't interrupt, doesn't destabilize. That is power zoom. And this is nothing new, right? Sony has had power zoom lenses for a long time. You've seen a lot of power zooms out there, including, excuse me, the 24 to 105 2.8 from Canon has an added on module that'll let you have power zoom. That is an add-on, that is a mechanical hardware you will buy to add on to it, but you have that capability. Very cool. Very, very cool. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Also helps that since you don't have super jostle the lens zoom, you can probably do it while recording and you won't shake the footage, which is exactly what I just said. If you don't want to interrupt, think of it this way, power zoom is giving you the ability to have a clean, consistent zoom without interrupting anything you're doing. That means you can pan while zooming out, have a consistent on a dolly. You can have it on rails and just move consistently and zoom out consistently, having a shot planned out to a T, including your follow focus, right? So this is exactly the type of tools you want to see when you're doing elevated levels of video, or as you would call it, cine, right? And it's very cool. And in fact, what's really cool is that in all things considered, that's a pretty affordable lens in the cine world, $2,500. What I wonder is why it's f-stops and not t-stops. I'm gonna wait till I talk to someone at Nikon to get a word on that. I don't want to speak on that without having proper information on that. So Pavel's asking, just curious, is the zoom configurable, meaning from what value to what value? I'm not sure, but you can adjust the speed of the zoom, which is basically everything, right? That's how much you want to have the sensitivity of how that zoom actually looks as it's in operation. So I couldn't answer what value to what value. I haven't even gotten the lens in hand. They released this while I was on the road at imaging. Then I got ridiculously sick. The 35 1.2 got announced. I would have really liked to have tried that lens out. I do personally own the 85 and the 50, so the 35 would have been interesting. I did hang out with Joe McNally for the week, who did do the release for that, and his shots that he showed me were awesome. He says he personally enjoyed liked using it. So, you know, here we go. Oh, sorry. Rich for Mike, a random question. How long have your Tether Tools cables lasted? I got 5 years with minimal use and it just stopped working out of nowhere. So cables by nature, no matter what they are, especially HDMI, by the way, will degrade. And if you're sending power through that cable, it could further escalate the speed it degrades at, okay? Funny you should mention this, because right here, in fact, can I bring this up? Because I forgot to. I have a new cable from Tether Tools right here. Tether Tools Optima. Let me take a look at it if I can find it on the Adorama site. But this is a 31-foot cable that is 10 gigabits per second. It's higher priced because it's made to hold up to exactly what you're talking about. This also does not have power delivery, and they did that on purpose. Let me see if I can find this. The reason that you're not going to see power is because exactly what I said. Some cameras out there, I'm not going to name brands, but some cameras have an extreme power draw while they're in use. There's probably multiple different reasons for this. One of them is just going to be that we're using higher powered processors than ever before. Our cameras are more sophisticated than ever before. This is the Optima cable that I'm holding right here, okay? This was designed to be as rugged as they could do it. They made sure to get this into a lot of user hands, like pro hands, that they have relations with, including myself, to try it out rigorously. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm in a rough position today. Before they released it. So now most cameras have the ability to turn the power delivery off while you're tethering. Some people like to leave it on if you're doing short jobs, or if you don't have another battery on you or whatever. That's another reason, whatever. A lot of people turn it off because it's just another point of failure. This is the cable that they are basically claiming addresses all of that. So you can see right here, does not support audio video PD charging. They made it so that there is no power delivery, so it's only worrying about data. So if you're running a commercial setup, if you are going into high volume, I'm talking like e-commerce, you're doing something for hours, days, cranking through high volume shots, you might want to consider something like that. If you think you can go into a situation that is critical, meaning a paid job or something you really care about, with one single cable and no backup, you are kidding yourself. This is as crucial as any other part of your kit that you need redundancies for, meaning batteries, memory cards. And you could say, well, I won't tether then, I'll just shoot to my card. Well, if you're in a situation where you're tethering, where a client is watching, where someone you're shooting with is collaborating with you, where you're trying to work with a team, showing everything, tethering isn't just shooting into a laptop and calling it a day. Tethering is working in real time to what you're producing. You're able to see a true RAW file on your screen, not a JPEG on the back of your camera. You're looking at what you're actually shooting. You can make adjustments as you're shooting and then go forward with whatever you're adjusting on the fly to stick going forward. Like meaning, like, let's say I'm shooting and I want to go into black and white. I go into black and white. I make my tone adjustments and I'm shooting to those tones in real time and I can export them as I shot them. It's not just connecting to a computer here, okay? So Tether Tools has been kind of an industry standard out there, but the cameras have changed over the years. I mean, the ports, the protocols, power delivery is a major thing. You know, I think the only camera I've come across that doesn't allow you to shut off power delivery right now is Canon. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the chat, but so far, every other camera I pick up, I can shut off the power delivery, which takes that kind of stress off my mind. What just happened here? Whoop. Hey, what's going on, Gavin? You caught me out on recently tethering to a Fuji, not charging by USB default, fixed it. Yeah, you know, being able to draw power while you're tethering is kind of like a bonus if you are doing shorter jobs, if you're not relying on it completely to charge a battery from dead, right? If you're just keeping it so that the battery is always full, which is what I tend to do, which I know is not the healthiest thing to do. Eric, next time you come here, you left a Canon lens cap. I got it here on the console. I saved it for you. You've probably been looking for that, Eric. Come on, man. So Jacob's asking, why would you want T-stops for this one versus versus f-stops? And I'm guessing you're talking about this Nikon lens. Because when it comes to cine and you're working in systems, let's say you're working with other lenses and you're swapping around, you're going from T-stop instead of f-stop. F-stop is a measurement of light coming into the lens, not what's actually the light coming out on the back end of the lens. T-stops is allowing you to know exactly how much light is coming out of the lens into the camera. The difference. I'm a little foggy right now, but f-stop should actually be a measurement of the actual size of the opening, and the T-stop is the measurement of the actual amount of light coming out the back end, like T2.4 or whatever. That's a T-stop. So if you're working on a set and you're working with like a lens that's, let's say, I don't know, 18 millimeter T 2.2, whatever, okay? And then you go, well, let me switch out to this 28 to 135. Oh, it's an f4. Well, right there, you run into a sticky point of, well, I'm not really going to be able to make a measurement to a measurement, and it could affect your shutter speed, shutter angle, and the rest of your exposure settings when in other cine kits with an actual range of cine lenses in a system, you can go from T-stop to T-stop and just know that your exposure's not changing. So I think just for people that are used to working in a T-stop scenario, you would want that. I'm not sure what happened with this specific cine lens. However, they're not exactly calling it a cine lens. It's geared towards video. It's geared towards cinema, but there's nothing in the title that's calling it a cine lens. That said, I think this is more of a PowerZoom lens for mirrorless shooters. Z9, Z8, Z6 III, those types of bodies, to then just have the ability to have a cinema feeling lens with PowerZoom. And don't forget this too, over here, this gearing allows for, you know, a follow focus to be adhered. The gears on the side to click right into those teeth to be at the right size to have a follow focus. So there's that as well. Excuse me, guys, I'm sorry. I'm telling you, this flu really beat the hell out of me. So is this making sense for everybody? I know I'm on a delay, so if you guys want to ask any questions, but really what we're going through right now is pretty wild when you're seeing cinema becoming more and more accessible, being more and more versatile, as opposed to proprietary anything, right? Proprietary mounts, proprietary whatever. No, you can use the V-mount battery you want with the lens that you want. You can throw in the, you know, I think the only thing you're gonna find proprietary now is like using mags instead of, you know, CV Express Type B or something like that. And I think when you look at that, you can also look at SSD recording out through USB port, and then that becomes more ubiquitous, right? Just using an SSD, right? So we're coming to a world where like for under 10 grand, you can shoot some cine, boy, you know, Netflix approved, ready to rock, gut and going. And before that, you would see something like a cine camera costing 30, 40 grand, every lens costing 8 to 12 grand. Like, it's crazy. I mean, think of it this way. The Nikon 095 knocked lens that's all manual was getting rehoused to PL because it was a $9,000 version of probably a $15,000 lens that's out there, and it's a superb piece of glass. Now it's native Z mount. Now you can natively put it onto a VistaVision Global Sensor 8K Red, manual focus, of course, no rehousing, no adapters, for $9,000 lens as opposed to double, triple the price for a lens of the same spec. You know, I know it sounds crazy when we talk, oh, $9,000, like, but in the world of rentals, production, which is millions, it's not that crazy. You know, it's accessible. You guys, like, this gets this closer and closer into your hands. Don't forget the used market. Things get even more affordable and able to be accessed in your hands, you know? So it's really exciting. And it also means, like I said before, anyone with gear in these systems, it holds your value more because it's more adaptable to different use cases and systems, making it more valuable in the marketplace for people to want it. Kind of crazy. How's everything else going otherwise, guys? I feel like I've just been rambling here, but that's kind of what I'm doing today because I am on short breath here. Let's put it that way. I am not going to be here next week. We're actually headed to Japan for a few days. Hopefully I heal up a little bit more before we leave. But because we weren't going to go live next week, I wanted to make sure I got on here this week. So, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. There's so much being streamed out of this event space for you guys that I really hope we can make this channel, you know, if you can't be here in person, I want to make this channel huge. We got a gold plaque for the main channel. I want to get the silver plaque for this one. Let's get to 100K. I know we can do it. And hopefully you guys can feel like you're the originals, you know, but oh my gosh. And I know cine doesn't matter to everybody, but when it starts affecting the gear you're already owning as far as value goes, it doesn't matter. And don't forget the ability you have in cameras you probably already own, like a Z8 or, you know, an R5 II or, you know, Sony's A6000 series and all sorts of, like, all these cameras are giving you more and more capability to just shoot really beautiful, clean video with affordable glass, amazing glass, incredible sensor technologies out there. Like, it's all getting put right in your hands as you own it. Video question. I just put out my first video, very rudimentary. I know everyone is different, but how long did it take you to get comfortable with editing videos? I'll let you know when I get there. I'm still not comfortable editing videos. And I am a YouTube scrub when it comes to video. I wouldn't hire me for video work. I just film myself, I film for this channel, and I try to just survive to the next one, right? But if you want, Adorama started a cine channel. It's true, guys. Adorama Cine. Let me go over to, and they've been force feeding amazing content onto this thing. Adorama Cine. Here we go. Right there, guys. Adorama Cinema. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to put it in the chat. Make sure you hit subscribe on that. If you guys want like real walkthroughs on what it is to actually be a filmmaker. And this isn't just gear. This is about what philosophy it takes to actually get a project done from start to finish, things you should be concerned with, how projects are done, showing you projects, then walking back and going through what it's about. Already at 11,000 subscribers, which is more than this channel, crazy enough. So maybe you guys should subscribe on this channel. But go ahead and check that out. The other thing I wanted to give you guys was this video. If you want a more comprehensive look, this channel did a really good job on going over the red Z-mount thing over on CVP. I think they did the best video so far on it. Matt Irwin did a pretty good video as well, but I think, you know, Marcus is saying, I think the question is years, but over time you find your feet and develop instincts to make a video work. In the end, there is no right answer. It's just how you put together the work you're putting out there and then how it's received. If you feel it's not being received, meaning your editing doesn't come across cohesive or coherent, maybe you need to start looking at the way you're seeing your videos from other people's perspectives and adjusting your editing style and the way you approach projects. But there is no right answer here, right? So you have to trust yourself and try to develop your style based on what you feel confident is the way you're trying to portray the work you're trying to put out there, you know? I'm mainly looking to do BTS video and then expand from there. That's always a good way. I mean, look, filming something that's reality based and just trying to make that story coherent is a lot different than developing a story fictionally, like a script and things like that, blocking actors. But if you're trying to actually do documentary work and trying to give people a sense of what you had in front of your lens because they weren't there to get the story you're trying to tell, that is probably one of the best places to get yourself going, right? Hey, what's up, Brad? How you been? Been a while. What's the difference between Lightroom and Capture One, between owning, subscribing to? So I couldn't talk about the subscribing or owning or whatever. I own Capture One outright, and I am a Capture One photographer. And the reason being is because it's pretty much an industry standard. Every commercial set I've worked on, worked for, every photographer I assisted, every place I've walked into, it was Capture One. And when I use Capture One, I personally like the interface. I personally like the way it interprets RAW files. I personally like the information I see coming out of my RAW files, meaning the detail in my highlights, the ability to push around tones or whatever. The color grading I find very powerful. And I just also found them very reliable when it comes to having RAW support for newer cameras, which is something I have to deal with a lot for this channel, right? So something like a new camera comes out, more likely than not, Capture One has an update that already supports that RAW file. So what I can tell you is, if you want to know the difference between Lightroom and Capture One, download them. They're free trials, right? 30-day free trial on Capture One. Put the same RAW file into each one and see how you work and what makes sense to you. Also know that there are things you can change on the interface to Capture One to mimic things in Lightroom. You can also customize Lightroom completely as well. So it's really up to a user. It's such a subjective thing. I think you really have to kind of break it down for yourself and just get in there and see how you want to work with it. But I will say, knowing both programs is just beneficial to you in assisting or just being versatile as to clients or whatever. But I am in the camp of you should know Capture One at this point if you're looking to work commercially, and if you want to learn it, you can not only get the 30-day free trial, but there are free certification video classes, like classes via video online. I know Capture One provides them. So it's worth it. So it's all right, Brad. Don't worry about it. I'm not feeling it this morning either. I barely have a voice anymore. Kevin's asking, I watched the Jamie Price Motorsports series. Thanks. That was a really cool series. Jamie Price is one of the best motorsports photographers on the planet, and it was really amazing to hang out with him in Spain for that Lamborghini weekend. So if you haven't checked it out, it's called Shoot for Speed over on the main channel. The episodes aren't more than like 5 or 6 minutes. It's a quick watch, but it's pretty good. I know you're part of that. Do you ever shoot motorsports, fast action, similar to that? Well, if some of you guys have been following me for a while, know my career started in BMX and skateboarding. So if you want to call that fast action, never really shot motorsports, which is ironic since my father took me to NHRA drag strips half my childhood because he built dragsters. That said, I never really was like, I got to go shoot this. So no fast action regarding that. Never been much of a sports photographer. I will shoot sports when we got it for the channel. You've seen me shoot sports, boxing, and other stuff that have been on the channel. But but it's not so much what sport it is. It's still the fundamentals of how do you shoot fast action, your shutter speeds, your camera movement with the action, you know, isolating subjects, capturing a narrative of what's actually going on in a specific scenario. So all that, I feel like I can apply it. Am I the best in the world? No. Can I do it? Yeah. And I hope you guys can feel the same way as well. All that said, Jamie Price has such a feel and innate instincts to shooting motorsports that it's like when you watch him work, it's just like this symbiotic second nature with him, and how he knows exactly the speed to pan with whatever focal length he's using to get these amazing, abstract, beautiful images. So you should go check that out if you get a chance. Brian's saying, I'm reading Joe's, I'm guessing Joe McNally, Joe's book. Was pleased to see him recognize you and Daniel for contribution to educate photographers. Plus I flipped ahead to see Joe's portrait of Marissa. Yeah, Joe always gives credit to everyone. And, you know, I don't think most of what we're doing here would exist without guys like Joe McNally laying down the foundation for proper education, showing us exactly how far a level things can reach and get to, you know. And I'll always be grateful to Joe, and it's amazing when he calls me in to help him out on stuff. And it's just cool when he calls me out of nowhere and I get to hear some cool stories about all these amazing adventures he has out on the road, which is incredible. So yeah, man, I feel like we just went down a ton of rabbit holes. We've been live for 40 minutes already. This is crazy. Oh, David Bergman is texting me right now, and I'm going to quote this. If David Bergman is in this chat, I love that it's conveniently texting me now, by the way. Hey pal, next time you're talking to the Adorama audience, feel free to mention I'm up for a huge award. Oh man, this humble guy. Favorite tour photographer at iHeartRadio Music Awards. Congratulations, David Bergman. I hope you get it. It's a fan voted thing, so you guys can vote until March 10th. Go vote Bergman.com. If you guys want to support David Bergman, it'll take you directly to the voting page. You can vote for David Bergman, who has been doing amazing work with Luke Combs, and he's Adorama family and a good friend of mine and an amazing photographer in his own right and a Canon Explorer of Light. He's a top-end pro in this industry. So if you guys want, make sure you go to votebergman.com. I'll even put it in the chat because this guy is clearly campaigning. VoteBergman.com. All right, there you go, Dave. All right, I did it for you. You owe me one, homeboy. All right. So conveniently, I just got that text while I'm live. Conveniently, isn't that amazing, guys? Isn't it so convenient? Ken is saying, I guess that's why I shoot. Kind of say, I guess that's why I shoot so many different things. It's always fun to learn something new. What I like about shooting so many different subjects is there is always something to apply to the next subject. I always bring this up is that, you know, a lot of what I shot was special effects makeup for a long time. In fact, I'm doing a special effects makeup job tomorrow. Hopefully I survive that. Special effects, I learned a lot from all my years shooting product. Because you're not shooting skin, you're shooting foam latex. You're not shooting human beings, you're shooting paint and latex and airbrush, and you're shooting different textures, you're shooting different finishes. You know, glossy, gleamy, snotty, drippy, blah, is the same thing as shooting a lot of like beauty products, believe it or not, because you got that glare and that gleam and that consistency, that viscosity and all this stuff, right? So there's so many different things you can learn from a different genre of photography to bring into whatever you're doing. And I think one of the best genres to talk about that in is actually weddings. You know, if you don't know how to shoot tabletop product, you probably don't get the best you could out of like the shot of the rings or the bouquet or the arrangements or the decorations or little, you know, heirlooms that might be around, whatever it is, you know, not being able to, food photography, right? Well, definitely you can translate into the wedding world. So there's just so many different things that you can pull out from a genre you don't think you have any business shooting or have any interest shooting into something you do have an interest shooting. And that's one thing that's a real benefit of where I'm at on this channel is every time they throw something to me, I got to work fast, I got to learn it quick, and I got to apply it to something. And I try to go into this Rolodex of skills that all of us develop over the years of, well, what was similar to when I had to use something like this? And what's similar to an issue I ran into with this problem having here? You know, it's invaluable. Nothing will make you better than just pure raw experience, no matter what it is. So when someone calls me in and goes, hey man, I just need a gaffer really quick. Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm not shooting, but I know I'll figure out a different, a better way to rig lights, run cables, make things safer, learn something extra about grip from somebody else that's there. You can't understate it. I could not find Bergman's post this morning. I'll look again. I don't know what his post is, but I'm sure he's putting it all over the place. Wedding photographers are like an everything photographer: food, product, macro, event, portrait. Yeah, it's a lot of things all at once, but in the end, it's an event photographer. An event can be anything, you know? So I feel like I'm going to get another text from Bergman. I wonder if he's in this chat, but you know. Kevin's asking if you could choose to be your photographer for any artist band, who would it be? Oh, the tour photographer. I got to tell you, this sounds awful, but I've never really connected with shooting for the music industry. And let me explain why. I find it very hard to differentiate one guy on a mic from another guy on a mic, to one guitar player to another guitar player. Like, it always feels very sameish to me. And I think the best music photographers are the ones that really can tell the story of what's unique and what stands out about artists, and finding those moments and those particular shots to bring to a forefront. So it's like, I just never really gave it any thought, to be honest with you. I'd rather be there for the experience of the actual tour than photograph it, I guess. I know I'm probably like pissing off so many people right now, but it's just never been something I really clicked into. And I grew up a punk. I went to like really small $3, $5, $10 at most shows where you wouldn't know any of these bands really, unless you really knew them, and you were 6 inches from them anyway, and there was barely a stage. So I guess I never got into it. I'm not the type of person to go like, I've got to get tickets to this concert. If I get tickets to a cool concert, that's great, but I'm not, it's never been a thing for me, to be honest. Do you think weddings are still the way to make photo video work as a business? I'm not sure what the actual question of that is, but weddings are an absolute business. Are you kidding me? Like, you're talking about a client that's going into it aware they're spending money, looking for quality, understanding their budget, and going to you on the premise that you're a service, not, hey, you're a buddy with a camera, will you do this for free? It absolutely is a business. I'm without a doubt. You're crazy if you don't recognize that. I think some people have a hard time getting started with producing work that you can then charge for to show that you are of value to be paid for said work. That's a different story, right? But you could start out by shooting events of whatever nature, public events that show your capability of telling a narrative story of an event. Doesn't have to be a wedding, could be a carnival, whatever it is. Go to events, show how you would shoot an event, and maybe find those couples that might not have the biggest budgets that you can start shooting for, and be like, hey, like, I'm starting out, you don't want to spend a lot, but here's my ability at shooting an event. Now imagine it being your wedding. And once you gain that trust, you shoot that wedding. Now you have a proof of concept of how you shoot a wedding, and then you grow from there. And you have to snowball from some point. You know, you can't grow from nothing. You have to be able to show people what you will produce so that there's no guessing game on their end what they're paying for. And then you have to deliver on your professionalism of being reliable, producing, delivering. The second you don't do those things is the second your reputation goes down, and this is all about reputation and relationships. Okay? So don't underestimate, no matter what size job it is or what situation you're in, how important professionalism is. I don't care if you're not even getting paid. You deliver. You do not let people think you're not valuable because of your own bad habits. Don't do that. If Jamie Price asked you to cover any racing series for him, what series would you want to shoot? I don't know. To be honest with you, I think it'd be more fun to shoot something like monster trucks than like cars going around in a circle. As much as I love, you know, Formula One and all that stuff, when I get a chance to watch it, I get psyched on watching the documentaries after the fact. I'm never really into it in real time. I just want the stories distilled, boiled down and distilled to something I can ingest, like that Netflix series really brought Formula One to the masses, because instead of watching an entire season, you're just watching the real struggles of the humans and what's on the line, what's at stake, what it takes to do this. And once you get that story, that's where it's psyched, right? But in real time, I've never been a sports guy. I mean, I like, you know, pro wrestling is probably like the closest you're going to get me to caring about sports. And that's more of an entertainment than anything. And I'm also trying to shoot a job for them. So hopefully that comes to fruition. I would love that more than anything. But I'd want something that's just got some impact. And I think a lot of impact comes from things that are short bursts rather than a long marathon of things, which is what racing tends to be, you know? So how is imaging? Imaging was awesome. So many people I haven't seen in a long time. I mean, we had people in our classes from Alaska in Dallas. Like it's a real big event. If you guys haven't been, you should check it out. On some regard, check out the Professional Photographers of America YouTube channel. Me, Daniel Norton, I know Vanessa Joy, a lot of photographers are producing content for that channel for free education. Make sure you check that out. But they're also a good organization, and Adorama's booth was cranking. Our demos were packed. I can't thank Jennifer Stitt, Gary Hughes, Monica Sigmund, Will Cadena, Dan Norton, myself. I said thank myself. The demo lineup was just awesome, and I think we did a great job personally. And the classes are pretty well vetted, and everyone in that organization really, really cares, and everyone that comes to that show really, really cares. It was awesome. If you were in my demo the last day at the last hour, let me know how it was, because I was sick as hell getting on that stage. I was burning up. I could not connect thoughts. So hopefully it was coherent. With events, you never know who's in the room and what opportunities come from it. This is exactly true. I always tell you guys that story about how just being good, nice to the caterers ended up getting me more jobs in the makeup industry, because the producers are related to those caterers. They're just like, this guy was fast. People liked working with him, and this is the work. And next thing you know, boom, you know. Oh my God. Yeah, Ken is actually awesome. Ken does, first of all, really fun to watch his photography because he travels so much as a truck driver. But he's actually working for a lot of major events that you're probably ingesting somehow. He's one of the guys that helps bring them to fruition. So, you know, go follow Ken on Instagram. I'm not sure what your Instagram handle is. I'm sorry, buddy. Man, I have like no lung capacity. I'm sorry, guys. This is killing me. Everyone in the Southeast has the flu. Well, this is the Northeast, and everyone up here seems to have the flu. And I was sick like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still feeling it. This is brutal, guys. Like, I feel like pieces of my lungs are missing. When I got off the plane from Dallas, I came into the cold air, and I felt like there was fire down my throat and in my chest. I just felt like this raw skin that was just getting destroyed by cold air. It was brutal. Hopefully that demo, I I keep thinking about it because I don't even remember how the demo went. But like I said, nobody left. I know we're okay. You know, you guys have any other questions? WPI is coming up March 16th through the 20th. I will be part of the lighting summit for Pro Photo. That'll be happening on the 16th and 17th. I'm only one of like 5 speakers for that. So thank you so much for that honor. Will there be any videos from the demos? No. You're probably not going to, the whole point of the demos are you've got to be there for them. So you'll see some stuff on Adorama's Instagram, like little short bits here and there, but the actual demos, the whole point of them is you got to get to those shows to be part of it. I realize not everybody can get to these shows, but this is, you know, not everything can constantly be given away, guys. You got to go to some things, and that's kind of part of it, you know. Do you normally have everything you need for any given shoot in your 2 bags? No, but hopefully you get to a place where this thing works close enough to what I'm trying to do, and I can make it work, you know. So when you need that smaller light to act a little larger, well, then I'm throwing that 3-foot diffuser in front of it. And now it's a 3-foot size light. You know, you just got to make things work. And that's the thing, is you can't, if everything you ever needed in this industry for anything that's going to come your way could fit into 2 little cases, you wouldn't need anything else that's in this industry, right? But that's not the case. I mean, it's just not, you know. Everybody has the flu. Yeah, I mean, I never felt anything like this. I got knocked out. I mean, I could not believe how bad this got. The first phone call I had to the team here, I'm like, as soon as I started talking, the first thing I heard was everybody go, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh man, I must sound horrible." So, and I'm already like, I probably sound trashed right now. Excuse me, guys. So, yeah, this is kind of how I want the streams to go, though. I'm not sure whatever we're going to get into. Sometimes we're going to shoot. Sometimes we're going to talk about gear. Sometimes we're going to talk about some news. Sometimes I might drag someone in here. I don't know. Sometimes someone might show up that I didn't know was going to be here. Eric shows up all the time. We had Nick Dabbas come in here. I'll probably never see Daniel Norton here, though. I'll tell you that. Listen, I tried to... I appreciate that, but I don't care who you are. You can have a bad demo. You know, unless you're someone that does like really dialed in, scripted, hitting the mark every time. If you're someone like me or Joe or Daniel, where we just run on the fly, you can have a bad demo. Things can just go wrong. You cannot be thinking clearly or quickly. You know, you get thrown a monkey wrench and you'll have a decent demo, but could it have been what it should have been? Sometimes not, you know, and it sucks, but that's kind of part of what a live demo is and part of the honor of it being so difficult to do. All that said, hopefully you get to a place after so many years that no matter what happens, you come out with something, you know. It's not a waste of time for anyone. That's my biggest fear, is that any demo I do could be a waste of time. I don't want to waste anyone's time, you know. Yeah, I don't think this is going to turn into pneumonia. I don't feel sick, but I feel damaged. So hopefully my lungs clear out or heal or whatever has to happen. Hey, it gave me time to play Mortal Kombat 1 and find Floyd and defeat Floyd. If you guys know, you know. Hopefully he becomes a playable character. I think they need to change his moveset personally. But it was very cool to be part of like pretty much an old school Easter egg hunt that Mortal Kombat was known for when I was a little kid. So it was super fun. Take care, Craig, no problem. If you guys are new here, hitting like on this video is an easy way to help out. Hitting subscribe on this channel so you stay up on every live stream that comes out of this event space. Daniel Norton will be here live Thursday. It'll be on the main channel. He's shooting single light portraits. I will be live Wednesday with Eric Hercules, a really good photographer. We worked with him for the Sony Rooftop event. That'll be Coffee with Creators, Wednesday, 11 a.m. on the main channel. Are you able to bring in guests for Coffee with Creators from outside the New York area? If they're in town and they're down, they come through. right now, what you guys are seeing as far as guests goes are literally colleagues and friends doing me a favor. And it speaks a lot to the platform that they feel it worth their time to be part of it. So I'm grateful to all of our guests. We are approaching episode number 50 soon. Can you believe this? Episode 50 of Coffee with Creators. If you don't know what I'm talking about, every Wednesday I'm available at 11 a.m. Eastern on the main AdoramaTV channel. We talk for an hour with different creatives. So if you guys want to put something on the background while you're working or just listen to something while you're at the gym or whatever, it's a pretty cool series. And my whole goal with that series is not to be the cookie cutter dumb, hey, what's your inspiration? What's your influence? What was your first camera? No, I want you guys to feel like you're sitting at a table you wouldn't get to sit at normally. If you're in that small town and you haven't been around high-level creatives and want to see what types of people it takes to do what we do, or the mindsets, or what you don't know as part of the struggle, or just ask the questions directly, you're able to do it. Be with Coffee with Creators. And I feel like I'm pretty proud of that podcast. I mean, I wish the numbers were higher, but I understand we're all podcast saturated. Everybody in the world has a podcast right now. So I would say I try to make it as unique as I can. I want it to be visually appealing with the way we film it. Hopefully you guys get that sense. And I hope you guys get a sense that the conversation could be with 50 photographers, but it's 50 different conversations because you're talking to people that shoot different for different reasons in different ways, and where they come from and what their journeys were. And, also I think it's important for you to get a sense of the demeanor and rapport creatives can have on all different levels, whether it's someone I've known my whole career or someone I'm talking to for the first time, but they just are gracious enough to be part of that series, So, hopefully you guys are getting that. I really would like to see the numbers on that podcast jump up a little bit more, but I understand it's subjective. You don't care about, a portrait photographer because you shoot wildlife or whatever. I totally get it. But we've had, hockey photographers, boxing photographers, wedding, family portraits. We've had people who've started their own magazines. We've had filmmakers, art directors. We really do. We had illustrators on there. I'm going to be having some makeup artists and hair department people on hopefully soon. It's not just the cool, popular people, and it's not driven by a brand pushing a person in front of a camera as an ambassador. It's really driven by who we feel would just be a great guest and that someone you should know about, Yeah, Ken actually sat in the background of a couple of these, and you can actually talk to the people face to face. Wow, I've been live for an hour just talking. Hold on. No wonder I'm like running down here. Don't forget, guys, hitting subscribe on this channel. I really want to get it over 10,000. It's killing me that we're not even at 9,000 on this channel with the amount of content we're pushing out on here, the level of a resource that this channel is. It is absolutely killing me. Does the touchscreen of the ZF make up for no joystick? That's subjective. I'm a big believer in joysticks, but I think that's very subjective. I couldn't answer that. Like I said, skills from all over apply to different fields. Absolutely. Yeah, so, man. Tomorrow, I got to do a full day of shooting some special effects makeups. Been a while. Shaking off some rust, shaking off some cobwebs in the brain. And I'm also trying not to feel like completely trashed like I am right now. No, of course, Rich. And thank you guys for giving me your time. This is a 50-50 partnership, guys. I can't do any of this stuff unless you're there. And hopefully you coming here, you feel it's worth your time. And I think it's really important that you guys realize, like, we're not afraid to go live and go right face to face with you guys. We don't hide from questions. We're here to help you guys as much as we can. You know us by name, me, Daniel Norton, the people that are in this event space. You know who's working these channels. You're aware of the humans that actually run this, this platform to make sure that you guys are supported beyond just the gear you can buy from Adorama, but that you stay shooting, that you are pulling off the projects you want to pull off, creating the things you want to create, getting back whatever you're putting into it. And this is every time I hit go on this, I'm fully aware of the responsibility I have to making sure that everything is proper, honest, truthful, factual information that you can use. Okay. And you know, I just feel like we built something very special here that you can't produce again, let alone overnight. So I want to make sure you guys are aware that you can always come here. This chat room is always here for you guys. And it can only always be here if we go live, right? So that was the ethos behind these streams, was to make sure you know, hey, I'll go ask him on the next stream, or hey, I wonder if someone in that chat knows about this, and I'll go ask on the next stream. Or what was that thing that he said, or that thing that they used that last time? Oh, I'll go back and watch that again. That's there, you know, that's there for you. I like your discussion with Mark Cruz. I didn't have a discussion with Mark Cruz about the 35-1.2. I haven't done anything with that lens yet. I'm not sure which one you watched. Wasn't me, buddy. Steve, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you coming out to my demo, and I pulled Steve on stage to assist with the water bottles that I was using for the rain. So appreciate you, Steve. Listen, guys, I'd like to think that no one out there provides what we provide. I built this space on favors from this industry. Every brand understood the value of this event space and lending a hand, whether it was Nikon with the cameras, Manfrotto Avenger with the grip, Nanlite with the constant lights, BenQ with the projectors. I mean, there's so many things that were given to us purely because they believe in what we're doing. They never asked for anything. There's no sign in here that shows all the brands that we use. They just are showing what they believe in, you know? So I truly think this was built by community for community, and has to be supported by community. And that's why you guys need to show up. I need you in these chat rooms. I need you in the chairs here. And all I ask of you guys, that when it comes time for you to go and make that next purchase, consider this place first. It's a protected price industry. You can get that same camera anywhere at the same price, but just remember who supported you the whole way, you know? And I really believe that, you know, it's not about making sure you guys keep buying stuff. It's about making sure you guys keep shooting. And when you're ready, they'll be here for when you're ready to make your next purchase. It's what it is, you know? All right, last call for questions. We're over an hour here, guys. Last call. Oh, a big fuzzy dog just walked in the door. I think that's part of my favorite part about being in the store. It's like all the New York dog community is pretty awesome. There's like such a crazy amount of different sized dogs everywhere. Oh, that's a German Shepherd. Last call for questions, guys. I know I'm on a crazy delay because I run these streams at 4K and YouTube goes, but, and you should. If you guys are planning to come to New York, make sure you check out adoram.com/events. You can check out this QR code. Just stay up on it and see if there's anything happening while you're in town. You're always welcome to come through here. Or you just stop through regardless, 42 West 18th Street. And, you know, say what's up to Maury. He's always here. Marav's always here. Joe in the lighting department. You know, you got a lot of people here that have been here for a very long time that can help you out. Or you get to play with some toys. You want to know what the ZF feels like? It's on display. Go play with it, you know? Yeah, get rested. Yeah, I will be getting rested. There's going to be a pizza in this situation today at some point. I'm going to pack a bunch of gear. I think I'm going to be taking about 5 lights with me. And I am going to run the marathon tomorrow to get, I think, it's not that crazy. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minimum of 15 makeups to get through. Not that crazy. I mean, usually do somewhere around 25, 30, you know. So 15 feels like a good, you know, good workout, you know. Beat some Mortal Kombat at sleep. I gotta tell you, after getting Floyd, I'm kind of Mortal Kombat out. I mean, that was rough. Has anybody else in this chat gone after Floyd in Mortal Kombat? There's 37 challenges you gotta get through. Well, you don't gotta get through. You gotta get through 10 of them, but you don't know which 10 of them. So you're going down this list of 37 challenges, hoping to trigger Floyd, and you're not even sure which ones you've done sometimes, so you don't know when it's gonna trigger. And the worst part of it is you never know if you're going to get Floyd to trigger with your main character, because some of the challenges are character specific. So the first time I triggered him, I was using a character I never used and I got destroyed by him. And then the second time I was lucky enough to get him with a character I'm so with, and I beat him. So there's your nerd talk for today. Listen, if you're watching, please hit like. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. If you're an OG here, please share this channel with somebody to hit subscribe. This channel needs to grow, guys. The more this channel grows, the more resources I can get for what we do with this channel. Makes sense, right? So I want to be able to get you guys more events, some high profile events. I want to get you guys a lot of good streams out of this place. I'm doing the best I can. I'm holding this place together physically with my own 2 hands here, and the support team from the content, the support from the content team here has been great, but we really got to grow this thing. So there is a stream about the OM3 camera coming up tomorrow. I'm looking at it. Make sure if you're into OM system, Olympus, and you're curious about it, check out that stream coming in tomorrow. I'm live Wednesday with Eric Hercules for Call for the Creators, 11 a.m. Eastern on the main channel. And also on the main channel, Thursday, Daniel Norton will be here live. I'll be here running swing with him, doing single light portraits live. And you guys know what you're going in for with Daniel, the guru, the man. He had an amazing class at Imaging, huge class. I think he had 800 seats. I mean, whoa. And it was very cool to see Dan on that huge stage again. If you guys want, you can follow me right here, Last X Witness, on all social. Make sure you check out my work on Instagram. Check out my own channel for more tutorials and a lot of photo nerd stuff. 130,000 subscribers on that channel. I can't believe it. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you check that out. Don't forget to hit this QR code and stay up on all the events. Guys, it's been real. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I will see you at some point, whether it's a Coffee Creators or Daniel's stream. And hopefully I'll see you guys at WBPI as well. If you are going, make sure you say what's up. And yeah, I hope I see you here next time at 42 West 18th Street. Come say what's up to everybody. You're always welcome here. Till then, I'm Seth Miranda. I will see you on the next one. Be good to each other, guys. Later.